Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. This is just going to be a very short and sweet cryptocurrency market update video. The entire market is bouncing. It's not just the cryptocurrency market. We are seeing a bounce for gold. We're seeing a pullback in the dollar. We're seeing a bounce for the futures market. The stock market actually closed rather well yesterday, which is something that we had discussed, not just in yesterday's video, but our videos rolling into Monday. This was a tweet that I had posted from the 25th. Talking about a bounce for the stock market, and this was a very technical bounce in my opinion. Also, the cryptocurrency market rallying, there are reasons for. What we're going to do is we're going to kick the video off and we're going to get into quite a bit of news, guys. We are starting from next month going to get back to what we love to do, and that's diving into individual cryptocurrency projects and really trying to educate people on the crypto space as a whole. Because you guys know, even though we are bearish on the price, we are still and have been since the inception of this channel, and for me now over 5 years, exceptionally bullish on the direction that the crypto market is going in and blockchain is going in. It is very much a technological revolution that I believe is here to change the world. But we are bearish on the short-term price, and that does not reflect our bias on blockchain as a technological revolution. You know, I think many of these cryptocurrency markets, not only are they here to stay, but they're going to do very well. And the fact for me is quite clear that we are going to get, this is the new asset class, we're going to get to the tens of trillions in terms of a market cap. And we've seen, you know, a great amount of money pumped into markets, but we haven't really seen the extent to it yet. You know, that is still all to come. I do believe a new bull run will be issued in. I just happen to think that now is not the time. So we're going to kick things off by looking at the draw that we drew yesterday. We were speaking about the possibility of a double peaked right shoulder like we had over on the left shoulder. That is very much now playing out. This is not a fresh draw. Go and watch yesterday's video. This was put on from yesterday when we were sort of consolidating or actually coming back to what we're calling our head and shoulders neckline at around about 18,800. And we did say that there's a number of reasons to expect or to have expected some kind of a rally here. I'm not necessarily interested in long rallies in this market. I'd rather wait to fade the move and take it to the downside in regards to a short. But there was a number of reasons why this rally actually looked like, you know, there was the potential for it. The fact that given everything that took place towards the end of last week, really with the FX market, but also the stock market, you know, the Dow, I think, had the worst day since the start of the year. The stock market had the worst 2 weeks since 2020. Crypto actually held a lot of strength, and you had to really ask yourself the question, well, why was that? For me, I think there was more going on in other markets, which captured a lot of traders' attentions. They wanted to capture the moves going on elsewhere. Monday, we saw a huge move for the GBP against the USD. And actually, you know, we saw huge strength for the dollar, but Bitcoin didn't really sell off in the manner that you'd expect. So it was kind of a precursor that maybe you'd get a move such as this. Bitcoin's at 5.13% today. But for me, the reason you're not breaking this is because this is very technical. Now, there's a bullish case here to the fact that you haven't broke this level. You know, there's bidders here at this level, and the sellers aren't really that interested because it is key support. The issue that you have is once you break this level, you do it with momentum. And this ties in with our head and shoulders pattern that gives us targets of around about 1,300, so sub $1,400 Bitcoin. I do still believe that is on the card. I could be totally wrong. I see lots of people in the comment sections talking about DCAing. Over a long enough time period, certainly if crypto does become the technological revolution that I think it already is proving to be that, DCAing potentially will serve you well. But the same people in the comment section that are calling for DCAing were DCAing at 69k, 50, 40, 30, 20, and so on and so forth. So for me, it's all about, you know, being an active investor, not just a passive one that throws little bits of money here and there into markets, and looking for that opportunity. And in regards to being an investor right now, and we've made this abundantly clear since 44k for Bitcoin, the risk to reward doesn't stack up, and that's still very much the case. There's far more risk on the table right now than there is reward. And for us, if we were to get back into markets now, we'd have more than doubled our crypto holding in altcoins significantly more than doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and so on in many cases. So we've made the right call so far. That doesn't mean that we're going to continue to be right. Many of the people who disagree with my opinion that the market is eventually coming lower may be right, and that's how the game goes, unfortunately, or fortunately for the person who essentially gets the right call. But this rally essentially was very predictable. If you come back and take this high, okay, then we can start. And certainly if you come back and invalidate or you put in a higher price than, let's say, 25k, you completely invalidate this head and shoulder structure. For now, it's still very valid in my opinion. In actual fact, we have been calling for a double peak, saying that it's a possibility. And yesterday we actually said it's quite likely, given where the stock market was going into a Monday open. You can see you're at this sort of key level. If you look, markets love to put in double bottoms, and the stock market was there, so was the Nasdaq, and you can see that it hasn't quite, although this is a huge shooting star on the Nasdaq, you can see that it didn't quite push through this level and actually found support here in a bid as the day went on. So we'll see how things open. The future market is currently doing very well. You're getting that bid, you're getting that double bottom. This is all coming on the back end of a dollar pulling back. So we actually said to you yesterday, look, we wouldn't long the dollar, which means essentially we wouldn't short Bitcoin at this level. Not only is it key support, but we're expecting the dollar to have some sort of a pullback as it pushes into your 2000 and let's move it to a weekly chart, one highs. The last time the dollar was here was in 2001. We said expect some resistance here. We do think eventually the dollar goes much higher, but there may be a period of pullback. That's going to see risk assets do well. Even the likes of gold are rallying today, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that significant or spectacular in my opinion. I do think gold is going to come lower, as well as the cryptocurrency market, as well as the stock market eventually. But things don't just go down in a straight line. And we have had some significant sell pressure, that you'd expect some sort of a pullback from. Let's take a look at this. Since the 12th of September, the market's down 20%. Since it put in the low, it's up a whopping 11. So you've got to expect, some sort of pushback in a downtrend. Things don't just go down in a straight line. For me, this is just consolidation, just like you had consolidation over here, just like you had taking it to a daily. Just like you had consolidation over here, just like you had consolidation over here. This is, in my opinion, consolidation. We're setting up a head and shoulders that I think takes us to that next leg lower. Yesterday, we spent quite a lot of time looking at head and shoulders patterns and letting you guys make the decision whether you think there's one there or not. Maybe there isn't. It's just my opinion. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how far this gets. For me, personally, I'll be looking to fade this. Do we have the dollar rest for a week till the end of the week? Maybe, going into, could be a couple of week rest that the dollar sees, but then does it reassert, and do we see that pushback after a pullback? Potentially, and that's going to obviously be bad for your risk on asset class like the cryptocurrency market and the stock market. I do still think stocks are coming much lower. I do still think crypto's coming much lower. I think gold's coming much lower. I think everything's going to get hit with this recessionary period that we're moving into. Talking about a little bit of the news, the Fed's Evans says he's getting a little nervous about going too fast with rate hikes. In my opinion, how this ends is something breaks. So that's really a risk factor that I'm thinking about. It's unprecedented. We have World War II debt levels. We have, just insanity taking place in markets across the board. And still people call for bottoms. Still, people don't see an issue with that. And the reason they don't see an issue with that is essentially because the Fed has had your back since 2008, since the last recession. So many people that are in markets now, including myself, have never had to face a period where the Fed hasn't been there for you, where we've gone into a recession. Markets have just done this since 2008, or 2009, I should say, when we bottomed out after the 2008 recession. People are still expecting the same thing to take place. And I would argue what the price has already shown us is that is not the case. And this is looking at the stock market. If we think the stock market's going lower, do we think Bitcoin fights against the stream? It may, but we'll see the signs of that. We're not seeing that yet. We're seeing it very much act in tandem. One swallow does not a summer make. Friday's price action, when we saw everything tanking and we saw the dollar ripping and crypto, it did sell off, but not in the kind of higher beta manner that we'd expect. Does not mean that there's a decoupling taking place. That decoupling may happen, and I can't wait for it too. You know, as a crypto trader, I want to be able to just trade crypto. I don't want to have to look at the FX market. I don't want to have to constantly look at the equity market to find out what's going on in our space. I'd like to just be able to trade crypto. But for now, we're correlated. Why are we correlated? Going back to this continuous theme that we've consistently sort of crusaded for is that markets are essentially manipulated via liquidity. Liquidity is controlled by central banks. The Fed has had your back since 2009. No longer has your back and is going to let you fall. They're going to continue to up rates until they bring down inflation. We've got CPI next month, which is going to be very interesting. It's going to be an interesting month, October, because it's looking like we're going to put in a doji on the monthly for Bitcoin. Now, these kind of candles where you've got these huge shadows, so the wicks technically are called shadows when you're looking at Japanese candlesticks, and then you've got your body here, which is basically not very far from where it opened. It's green. That's kind of somewhat irrelevant to the doji signal. The doji signal is kind of maybe a reversal pattern, or not a pattern, a reversal candle that shows indecision in the current trend that you're in, and potentially the forebearings for a reversal. So you can't rule that out. So it's going to be interesting October. Even if markets did rally in October, I still think whilst we're in the kind of conditions that we're in, this doesn't really change our thesis that we think that, this is the bottom for the cryptocurrency market. I think many are going to get suckered into this, just like how many people got suckered in here and here and here and here and here. And we actually put in a new daily close, and I believe we actually put in a new weekly close. So what I'm saying there is all your bottom callers, your heroic people on YouTube, and by the way, we do not get a lot of love for being bearish, and we've been bearish since 44k and been right. We get a lot of people turning up, and obviously that hold, that want to disagree with me, and that's fine, but that do it in an emotional manner. Control yourselves, guys. You know, you're not helping anyone. We would get far more love if we were coming out and going, Bitcoin's going back to 66k this year, or that's it, the bottom's in, everybody get in. The reason I'm not saying that and not playing that tune is because I don't believe that is the case. Whether it's popular or not, I'm going to say it, and that's all you're going to get on this channel is honesty, guys. So enjoy it whilst you can. If you can trade this market and capture this upside, then do so. However, for me, I think it's very much unprecedented times that we live in. Financially, there are explosions going off all across the board. For those of you that haven't watched my interview with Francis Hunt, please go and do so. In my opinion, one of the greatest macro minds that there are, and he is better than the rest because he understands this concept of reset, and he understands who's pulling the strings and where. So be very, very careful of this rally. We closed our shorts in profit yesterday for this exact reason. So we very much have called this. We'll see. Does this head and shoulders play out? I think it's likely until proven otherwise. Is this just the double peak that we've spoken about? We're going to love and leave you on that note, really, guys, because there's quite a lot that we've spoken about that you guys can digest. We'll see how the stock market opens 2:30 in the UK. So keep an eye out for that. Does the stock market have a negative day? That'll probably drag everything with it. Dollar is seeing a bit of a rest, but in my opinion, this will eventually reassert and go higher, and that's going to be bad for risk on assets. You can see as well the dollar is having a bit of a rest with the GBP. We will see, but we are going to start covering individual projects. We are going to start going back to doing 2 or 3 videos a day. You're going to get a daily cryptocurrency market update from me every single day, talking about the market generally, where we're at. We may do some price analysis on altcoins if you guys fancy that, or let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like. And then we're going to actually be diving into these individual cryptos because we still research and look into cryptos all the time. We've got a crypto watch list that we've got that we're going to be looking to buy in this bear market, altcoins that we're going to be looking to buy. We also got 100x altcoins that we think are going to do very well that nobody really knows about, nobody talks about. Some of them I would put money on the fact that most of you would never have even heard of and have no idea exists. All I've got for you in this video, guys, if you enjoyed the content, like it, always appreciate it, so it's a comment, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.